It is airdrop season. We have been seeing over the last several weeks and really over the last several months some of the biggest airdrops in crypto history. We've kind of given some tutorials on some of those projects already, getting you early into a lot of those. And in today's video, we're going to be looking at 3 specific airdrops that you should be participating in, that you should be farming, that could be worth a lot of money. And there's a lot of exciting things about each one of these being uniquely different, offering their own kind of edge to what they do. All that and more in today's video. If you're new here, my name is Alex, Talk About Crypto News, Crypto Passive Income. If you enjoy content like that, consider subscribing. If you enjoyed this video, smash up the like. Without further ado, let's jump into the video. October has been a month full of surprises, just to say the least. I mean, obviously no one expected the largest crypto liquidation event in history to occur just a few days ago, and not to mention the rally that has followed suit, with some altcoins, the likes of BNB, actually reclaiming the highs prior to the market correction. So either way, with a lot more positive and bullish sentiment, there's a lot of things to be excited about as October shapes up to be a very, very busy month for crypto. Not to mention the rest of the year, we've only got 2.5 months left. A lot of things are going to be happening. Here's just a list of major events happening just in October itself. But there's a lot of things to be very, very bullish and excited about. And one of those things is Aster. Now, we've talked about Aster a lot on the channel. We've talked about different ways to farm Aster, especially in the very first initial airdrop, which got distributed today. You were able to go in and claim, which thankfully they kind of changed up. They made some corrections and the airdrop itself was a little bit higher based off of the numbers themselves, which is a huge kudos to the likes of the Aster team. Now, there are people who claimed $40,000 to $50,000 worth in tokens from Aster, which is insane to think about, but it's on a scale very, very small, considering the fact that this is just season, that was stage 2. We are now moving into the likes of stage 3. By the way, if you go to airdrop and you maybe haven't claimed your airdrop, you can go over here and claim your airdrop specifically, or you can request the refund based off of your trading fees. So do be mindful that stage 2 is over, and now we are on to stage 3. Stage 3 is going to be very important. The only thing we don't know yet about stage 3 is the amounts of tokens that are going to be allocated. What we do know is about 8% of the tokens were allocated for the first series of airdrops, 4% for this last stage 2, which brings the total to around 12, close to around 13%. I think it was like 8.8% for the first airdrop. So we're about 13%, which leaves, if I move myself, 40% of the overall tokens still yet to be distributed. So a lot of people, yes, for people who participated in the last airdrop, the more recent one, people who earned $50,000, that is a decent amount of money by all imaginations. Now, to think about that in comparison to that being 4%, now think about 40% still left, 10 times that. I mean, you're looking at $500,000 worth of airdrops if that individual or individuals who got that much of an airdrop continue on the same trajectory. So it just goes to show you that this recent airdrop was just a fraction of what is still yet to come. And that is why I think Aster, going into the rest of this year, going into November, is probably one of the best airdrops to participate in. Now, mind you, this overall epoch is going to be substantially larger and longer. So when you go over to the points, this has 5 epochs instead of just 4. So this is going to go all the way into the beginning of November, which people really don't know yet as to whether it's going to be 1% for each epoch. Maybe it's going to be substantially more. That is kind of the unknown, but it is one that I highly recommend that you participate in and you do not fade. We've done a huge tutorial on what I called, Aster farming for dummies, but it is very, very helpful because everything you need to know about this airdrop. I'll leave a link to it down below if you want to watch that video, so that way you can get ahead of the curve on that. Now, moving on to, like I said, if you haven't gotten your claim, make sure you do so. Moving on to a second project called Apex. Now, when perp dexes really started to get hot, Apex alongside of Avantis, AVNT, were two of the projects that got a lot of momentum. Avantis specifically because it was on base, and Apex because it is financially backed by the likes of Bybit. Bybit is one of the largest exchanges out there when you're comparing it to the likes of Coinbase, when you're thinking of Binance. Bybit is typically right there in the top 3, top 4, maybe top 5 overall exchanges in the entire world. So having that type of support means a lot for the likes of Apex. Now, Apex, I personally like the UX, the overall experience with Apex, and the UI slightly better. Now, don't get me wrong, I think this UI is very nice and clean. But this looks to me like a very dark brown. It doesn't look like a black. I personally like a very solid black user interface that makes it a lot more appealing. Like when I see this, this is my type of user interface that I like to see. Nothing wrong with the likes of Aster's. I simply just like the user interface that I see with Apex. But that's just a personal thing. Nothing really, more specific outside of that. But let's talk about the airdrop and everything that it has, because it does have a little bit more features towards Apex than you have with the likes of Aster. You do have it DeFi copy trading. So as a trader, grow your trading capital, keep 10% of the profits. As an investor, earn 90% of the profits by backing vaults managed by single traders. There are some interesting things there. The buyback and share aspect. You have a Apex AI. There's a lot of really unique aspects to Apex, lots of new features that you don't necessarily see with Aster. Every exchange is going to be different. I mean, when you look at even outside of perp dexes, just general exchanges have their own features, have their own kind of edge. And I think there are definitely some differentiating factors about Apex that make it different and unique. But here's the biggest thing as far as the Ape Season 1. So there's going to be over 69 million ape points over the next 3 months. So this is going to be getting in early on this one. The earlier, the better. So this is one that you can farm at the same time that you're farming Aster. And I think there's plenty of opportunity for what people would call hedge trading, where essentially you don't necessarily lose money. You're going to accrue fees. But you take a long position and at the same time you take a short position on another exchange. So if you go long on Apex, you go short on Aster, you get to trade on both platforms. You don't necessarily lose any money, but in that instance, you're going to get eaten up with fees. But for some people, when you get in early enough, you do enough volume, the value that you get in the airdrop itself, especially if the underlying token, the Apex token, as it does have a token, same thing with Aster, if the token itself retains its value, then the airdrop itself can far surpass what you paid out in fees. So there are a lot of unique things behind this. There are also boost factors, similar to what you would see with the likes of Aster. By participating in doing certain things, you get more rewards. So you can go through all these. I'm not going to go through all of these specifically, but one of the unique ones here is DEX Pioneer Boosters. So eligible traders who use an EVM address on Hyperliquid, Aster, EdgeX, Lighter, Paradex, or GMX before the September 29th date qualify for an exclusive boost. So, I've traded both on Hyperliquid, I've traded on Aster, and I've traded on Lighter. I've not done Paradex or EdgeX or GMX. Actually, I've used GMX way back when. But this is one that you're probably going to automatically qualify for if you watch my videos and traded on Lighter or on Aster. So an easy bonus there. And like I said, there are some other details: staking Apex token, different perp trade volume. So just similar to like you see with the likes of Aster, minting USDF, ASBNB gives you boost points, etc. So here's some of the things as this has been growing. One of the biggest things, obviously, team boost. Joining a team, joining through a referral is huge. And the max multiplier begins at $50 million in trading volume now instead of 10 billion, which makes it a lot more attainable. And when you look at the overall daily volume, it has been growing tremendously. When you look at just since the beginning of October, so just in the course of 2 weeks, the daily volume has increased by almost 4x. Meaning the median daily revenue is about 400,000, and they automatically do buybacks. 2 of those having been completed of $3.5 million. So there's a lot of really, really great things happening about Apex. And I think a lot of attention is going to be on Hyperliquid. It's going to be on Lighter. It's going to be on Aster. And that's going to make it a lot less competitive on Apex and maybe that much more rewarding. Now, the last one I want to get into is called Ostium. Now, this one to me personally is the most exciting one because it's the most unique one. And one of the biggest things out of 2025 that, I've been so focused on crypto and looking at different crypto projects that I haven't, gone back to doing a lot of stock trading. In fact, my very first channel I created that grew to 98,000 subscribers, half of that channel was focused on stocks, especially back in 2020, 2021. It was all the rage. There was a lot of great trading. Ran up my portfolio by 2.5x, 200% gain in a year. It was a fantastic year. And when you look at some of the top performing stocks and assets in 2025, they've been around precious metals. It's been incredible to see. And obviously, typically people look at what is the best performing asset. Most of the time, it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin typically outperforms all other assets historically. When you look at year to date, Bitcoin's been outperformed by silver. It's been outperformed by gold. It's been outperformed by palladium. It's been outperformed by platinum. Precious metals have been huge in 2025. Now, I think because of what you have with the likes of the United States and China and the clear focus on countries trying to get precious metals as they are very, very important towards technology, the value of precious metals and precious metal stocks specifically have grown tremendously. Some of the best returns in 2025 have been precious metals and precious metals based stocks. Now, what's unique is you don't have to have an account to trade. You don't have to have a stock trading account or some of the more offhand trading platforms to trade precious metals. You can do that directly on chain through the likes of Ostium, which makes me really, really excited. I had reached out to them. I want to do an interview because I want to talk more about what they're doing. But you can see the overall growth of this project. They've crossed $387 million in trading volume in the last 24 hours. And a third of that on precious metals alone. So there's crazy leverage, which, leverage, maybe not the best thing to do after the last couple of days, but you can trade a lot of great precious metals. So you can see the likes of palladium, you see platinum on here, you see oil, you see copper and silver and gold. And you can trade these at 150x leverage, which is insane to think about, but it offers leverage trading on the likes of precious metals, which very, very few platforms I've ever been able to find offer this. So this is what makes Ostium super, super unique. They do have a point system. Now, there's no guarantee. There's no hey, we are doing an airdrop, but all the signs are there. There's a lot of things that when you're looking at how they've designed this to be airdrop focused in the future. So highly recommend that if you're interested in the likes of precious metals, you've seen the returns, you don't necessarily know how to get involved in that, and you want to use your crypto, your stablecoins, USDC to be able to participate in this market, highly recommend that you check out Ostium. You can also participate in their vault, which also offers similar yields when it comes to providing liquidity. You can generate yield by doing so. For example, you can see their overall TVL sitting at around 33 million USDC, about $33 million. And you can see the overall APR as far as the yield that is currently generated on that. So highly, highly recommend. This is and obviously this is for, when I say this is currently for my excitement about it is for the commodities aspect, but they do offer stocks. They offer Forex. And they offer crypto. So there are other things, but it's not really, the focus isn't on crypto. It's not really on indices. It's not on specifically Forex. It's on the commodities. That is where so much demand is right now. And they are a clear winner in this as they're building this out. So those are the three. Now, if you stick around to the very end, I want to just briefly highlight one thing that is going to be happening in October. I talked about this in a post yesterday. And since then, the SNX token, I talked about this, I think right around $1.20, $1.30, something like that. It has done tremendously well. I did about a 240% gain on this trading it. But The SNX token, why is it rising? Primarily due to the fact that they are holding a $1 million top prize trading competition. So Synthetix has a long history. You're going to have, if you look at crypto Twitter, you look at the timeline, there's going to be people that love the idea of it moving forward and think this is a good reset. Other people are still somewhat scarred with the past history of Infinex and the likes of Synthetix. So do your research, do your due diligence. There's going to be a lot of attention on this because your top 100 traders on crypto, essentially, and really in general, are going to be trading over the next month for a $1 million top prize. So you're going to see a lot of mind share, a lot of attention on this, which I think is one of the reasons why I'm bullish, at least on the potential of the SNX token going up in value. You can see it's already gone from 70 cents all the way up to $2.50. It's done extremely well, so expect some corrections. But I would at least keep an eye on this, see how this performs, and maybe keep this one in your back pocket. Not in the airdrop specifically, but it's going to have a lot of attention as a perpdex, rebranding, coming back to the likes of the Ethereum mainnet. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on these 3 projects. Which ones are you the most excited about? All the links down below if you want to join my team on those projects as well. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, smash up the like. You enjoy content like this, consider subscribing. Until next time, guys, stay invested.